NFL news and rumors presented by Magic Spoon. If you guys haven't already yet, go check them out. It's at magicspoon.com/chat because today's show is presented by them. We're going to be talking about Stephon Gilmore, Richard Sherman, Ryan Ramczyk, some of the biggest names in the league. So if you're a big fan of the NFL rumors and you like healthy cereal, go ahead and check out magicspoon.com/chat. Stephon Gilmore, what's the latest around him? Every single New England Patriots fan's glued in, and the latest rumors, guess what? They're around the star cornerback. So Gilmore, no doubt, looking for a new contract, didn't report to minicamp, and if you want to talk about not being able to show his emotions, that's exactly what he did. So CBS Sports provided the top 10 highest paid cornerbacks on Twitter. Gilmore quote tweeted it and said, okay, obviously he's not one of the top 10 corners. He's not happy with his current contract, due only to make $7 million on his base salary. He wants not only a new deal, he wants to be paid as one of the top guys in the league. So in terms of the top 10 highest paid cornerbacks, you got Jalen Ramsey making $20 million a year, Marlon Humphrey at $19.5, Tre'Davious White $17.25 of the Bills, Darius Slay of the Eagles is sitting there with $16.68. Byron Jones is making $16.5 million. Those are your top 5. And then 6 through 10, Xavier Howard, $15.10. And guess what? He's even looking for a new deal. James Bradbury of the New York Giants, $14.5. Marcus Peters of the Ravens, $14 million. Trey Waynes, also $14 million. And then William Jackson of the Washington football team, sitting there at $13.5 million. So after seeing all those values, how much money do you think Stephon Gilmore should ultimately make? I know it's a tough question, but it's my job to ask these tough ones. And when you think about the year that he's coming off of, he had a banged-up season, but in 2019 he won Defensive Player of the Year. So knowing all those numbers, knowing everything that I just said, how much should Gilmore make? Let's look at the past 5 seasons for him, because in 2016 with the Bills, he was obviously a very, very good player. 48 tackles, 12 pass breakups, 5 interceptions. Over the last 5 seasons, you can make the argument that he is a top 5 cornerback and has been one of the most consistent guys in the entire league. 2017 was a good year, but 2018, 2019, these were his top 2 seasons. And in 2019, he ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year. The issue, he's coming off a bad season, suffered a lot of injuries, especially to that thigh, which has definitely slowed him up. In terms of the overall grades, because sometimes you can't see everything with, stats, and I'm also not saying PFF is like the end-all, be-all, but sometimes I do think their grades can actually help out a lot of people. 2016 with the Bills, 63.6 overall grade. 2017 jumped all the way up to 78.2. If you're in the 90s according to PFF, you are just one of the best, if not the best. 90.7 overall. 2019, an 82.8 overall grade. And then this past season, they take a little bit of a step down. So what I want you guys to do is try to predict, where is Gilmore going to play in 2021? Do you think he can sort out this issue with New England? Do you think that Bill Belichick is actually going to pay somebody? You can go ahead and type Patriots. If you think it's going to be another team, well, then go ahead and let us know. I'm going to give you my top 5 teams that, if he doesn't end up staying in New England, which teams I think maybe make the most sense of him getting traded to. The Los Angeles Chargers make some sense to me. The Arizona Cardinals have been in all-in mode. I don't know if they're going to have enough money to be able to make it work, but that is definitely a big-time need there. The 49ers make some sense, the Chicago Bears, and then the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm curious, Saul, where's your favorite place to get NFL info? In today's world, you can literally get it anywhere. If it's YouTube, I want you to type Y. Maybe it's Instagram. Go ahead and type I. Facebook, F. Twitter, type T. No matter where you're trying to get your information, Chat Sports has got you covered. I want you to look in the bottom of the screen. You can follow us on Twitter. We're at Chat Sports. If you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, literally, just go to those platforms, type in Chat Sports, give us a follow. I promise you won't be upset. And obviously, if you're watching this video, I'm hoping that means that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If not, look underneath the video. Hit that big red button that says subscribe. That way you guys don't miss any information. Richard Sherman, is he on his way to the Dallas Cowboys? CBS Sports predicted where the top NFL free agents are going to sign in the 2021 season. They had Sherman linked to Dallas. This is obviously interesting, is because Sherman probably is the top name on the free agent market, and the Dallas Cowboys are, well, the Dallas Cowboys. And if you want to try to boost up your market, easiest way to do it is say, hey, I'm interested in going to Dallas. Your market's going to shoot up a lot. Now, he's definitely the top outside cornerback available. The biggest issue is, like, would Dallas actually pull the trigger, and would Sherman want to go there? So here's what CBS had to say on Sherman going to Dallas and why they believe it made the most sense. The Cowboys do present an interesting landing spot as well. Dallas has invested in the secondary over the last 2 seasons with second-round picks Kelvin Joseph and Trevon Diggs, but they could use a veteran piece like Sherman to help mold the still-developing unit over the next season or so. It also doesn't hurt that Sherman would have some familiarity with Dallas's defensive scheme with former Seahawks DC Dan Quinn now running that unit for head coach Mike McCarthy. I actually like the connection with Dan Quinn simply because if there is one thing that the Cowboys have shown me this offseason, they're trying to bring in some old Dan Quinn disciples. I mean, the amount of Falcons players from last season's team that are now members of this Cowboys roster is pretty surprising. So if you believe that you could be able to bring in Sherman and help mold some of these younger cornerbacks, I do think it actually does make a little bit of sense. But what do y'all think? Where will Sherman sign in 2021? When he talked about signing a deal, he talked about signing a 2-year deal. So that's been kind of an unpopular thing with a lower salary cap. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he's still out there on the market. But let me know, where will Sherman sign in 2021? So today is National Social Media Day, which I thought was kind of funny, and that's one of the things that I like to be able to bring to some chat sports shows, give you these random days that they are. So if you like what you're watching, if you're having a good time on today's episode, seriously, hit me up on Instagram. My DMs are open. Don't be afraid to ask me anything. If you want to know some more topics going on around the league, hit me up at MitchellRenz365. The next story here on NFL Daily is around Ryan Ramczyk, and this man got paid. He signed a 5-year, $96 million extension with the New Orleans Saints. This deal includes $60 million in guaranteed money. I don't know what I would do with $60 million guaranteed. If you guys want to throw in the comments what you would do, I can't wait to see those answers. But he is now the highest paid, right tackle in the National Football League, jumping Lane Johnson. So he's scheduled to make per year $19.2 million. Lane Johnson comes in second place at 18. Jack Conklin with 14, Taylor Motton at 13.75, and then Leo Collins at 10. You're about to see a lot of different contracts here, especially for some right tackles. The fact that Ryan Ramczyk set this number, really curious to see what some of the other these tackles end up making. So since today is National Social Media Day, I don't want you to just give me a follow. I want you to give people a follow who make this show possible, people that are working hard in the background. So the guy pushing all the buttons, the guy working on the producing, his name's Jack. So go ahead and give him a follow on Twitter at Jack Lotteray. If you're wondering where some of the other graphics have come from or from some of the other people, go ahead and give Jeremy a follow as well. He's worked very, very hard on today's show to make it possible. So go ahead and give Jack and Jeremy a follow at Jack Lotteray, at J.I. Beedling. But you know what Chat Sports is about? Competition. And you can't have a sporting event without a little bit of competition here. So after every single show, we do what's known as post-prod. So I'm going to make a little bit of a competition here. Jack right now has 282 followers on Twitter. Jeremy has 1,235. The first person to get 5 new Twitter followers doesn't have to do any post-prod, which basically means they can leave work earlier. If you don't get it, then you got to do a little bit of extra work and stay a little bit later. So if you like Jack more, go ahead and give him a follow at Jack Lotteray. If you like Jeremy more, go give him a follow at J.I. Beedling. If Jack was smart, he would show his Twitter handle a lot more than Jeremy's. But we're going to have a little bit of a fun competition because today is National Social Media Day. So it relies on you. I'm curious what you guys end up going with. So either follow Jack, follow Jeremy. Their future of today, I guess, is in y'all's hands. Got a crazy trade idea here around the Washington football team. I don't know who Sportskeeda is, but they projected Washington to trade for Cam Newton. This is the offseason. This is one of the hardest times to make videos, but it's also the time where you see a lot of crazy stuff happen. My job as an NFL analyst here at Chat Sports is to be able to find rumors, find news, and give my opinion on it. When I saw Cam Newton to the Washington football team, I was like, this is the story that I need to be able to talk about. The reason why Sportskeeda decided to trade Newton to Washington, Mac Jones is the future in New England. 100% agree with that. Newton and Rivera, they also have great chemistry. Remember, Newton used to play back in the Carolina Panthers, I know it seems like a century ago, with head coach who now coaches for Washington and Riverboat Ron. So here's what Sportskeeda had to say on Newton going to Washington. Newton was linked with Washington this offseason before re-signing with the New England Patriots. Mac Jones is the future of the franchise and will get his opportunity in 2021. Once Mac Jones proves that he can lead the Patriots into the future, Cam Newton will be on the move. Ron Rivera wouldn't turn down another shot at coaching Cam Newton. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a crafty veteran, but his playoff success is non-existent. Washington will need a quarterback that has had success in the playoffs, and Cam Newton will be their best option at the time. So here was the trade idea that they decided to cook up here. The Patriots receive a 2023 third-round pick. Washington, they get Cam Newton. So I want you to look at this trade. I want you to dissect it here a little bit. Think about it. And who do y'all think ends up winning this trade? If you think it's the New England Patriots, I want you to type NE. If you think it's the Washington football team, I want you to type WAS. So out of the two teams on screen with these deals, Washington getting Newton, the Patriots getting a third-round pick, who do y'all think ends up winning this trade? NE for the Patriots, WAS for the Washington football team. If I'm being 100% legit, which is what I try to do on these shows, I mean, the Patriots, to me, clearly win this deal, right? Like, I just don't understand why Washington would trade for Cam Newton. I get that it's a third-round pick in 2023, and Newton right now is going to be a starter. But, like, why is Washington going to trade for Newton? Like, I get that Rivera and Newton have this good relationship, but did you not watch football last year? Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick was clearly the more superior quarterback, which is why I'm saying, like, they should not trade for Newton. So, like, I don't care really what you're offering me. If you want to give me a better round draft pick, sure, then I'm open to it a little bit more. But, like, to have Newton and Fitz on the same field and to say that Newton would be the better option, that tells me that I don't know who Sportskeeda is, but maybe they should change the name of Sportskeeda to, I don't know, Sportskeeda. So here were the numbers from last season. Newton in 15 games, the 2,613 yards compared to Ryan Fitzpatrick in 9 games. I mean, the yards are a lot closer. Fitz threw for more touchdowns, less interceptions, and had a by far better QBR. In fact, Fitz had a top 5 QBR in the National Football League. So as it stands right now, if you could pick between these two quarterbacks, let's say you're Washington, say you got a great defense, you got a lot of good skill positions around you, who's the better quarterback right now? Who would you rather have on your roster? If you are going to type CN for Cam Newton, you know what? That trade does make sense. But then I'm going to say that, sorry, we simply disagree because I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to type my RF for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I get that he's a journeyman. I get that he's played a lot of different places. But the better quarterback right now is Fitz. The better career, that goes to Cam Newton.